Hi guys, welcome back to the From Solutions podcast. Today I have a very special person I'm going to interview. His name is Faruk Dube. I've known Faruk for over 8 years now, and he's
Yeah.
going to tell us his career story and what led him to use my services. Without further ado, let's get right into this episode. Hi Faruk, nice to have you.
Hi, Faith. Thank you for having me here.
Yes, yeah. So today I want you're going to be the one to lead the story. So I'm just going to be on the listening side, but once in a while I'll ask you a question. Can you introduce yourself to our listeners and the people watching us on YouTube?
Well, my name is Faruk Dube. I'm from Uganda too. I started my career in Uganda, did my bachelor's in Uganda, and also worked for a US military research organization called Walter Reed. And then I got a scholarship to do a master's degree in Sweden. Then I did master's in infection biology. Then after graduation, I got a job to do research in an authority here called SBA, and then resigned and started a PhD. And now recently, I defended my PhD. So pretty
Oh,
much that's the
congratulations.
nutshell. Thank you very much.
Congratulations
Appreciate it.
upon completing your PhD. It's really a journey for you to go through it. And I'm glad you pulled through because many people give up, and you're not one of those. We can't count you in that statistics of people who have given up on their dream. So,
Yeah.
could you tell us what led you to choose a career in infectious biology and now you're a bioinformatician?
Well, to start with, I think this was pretty much inspired in my first job at Walter Reed, because at Walter Reed we're working on infectious diseases, emerging infectious diseases, and mostly virology stuff, and we're doing a lot of surveillance stuff. So when I was applying for a master's in infection biology, it was pretty obvious because the master's was going to work on infectious diseases or infectious agents. And that's why I decided to take on the master's program because it was well aligned with what I was doing
Okay,
in Uganda. And then
okay.
I also I had love for computers and coding and stuff like that because I wanted to be a hacker at a young age. So now that I had this biological knowledge and there's this new field of bioinformatics that combines biology and computer science, I said I already have my training in biology and I have passion in computer science. I might as well pursue coding and trying to understand biological insights using code.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm now a bioinformatician.
So, how easy was it for you to get into coding, computer science? Of course, you might have had a background because you loved computers from a young age. How easy was it for you to transfer those skills from just being a biologist to now a bioinformatician who works with computers and big data sets, I would assume? Yeah.
Yes. To be honest, it's not easy. You have to have the passion for it because you're gonna have to put in a few extra hours at home on the weekends. You need to have love for it for you to really pursue it. And it's usually a practice perfection thing because you have to practice a lot to get better and better and better. It's by doing, really. And you can't do this if you're only concentrating the work towards your working hours at work. So you have to put in extra hours to do that. And there are so many resources for somebody to do that. There's a lot of YouTube videos to learn coding, and you have to choose one language. You can't choose all languages. Then you'll spread yourself too thin that you know a bit of every language, but you don't know much. So you have to choose one language and get better at it. Then it's always easy to go in another programming language because the principles are the same.
Oh,
With conditional statements or loops and those things are always the same. Uh, but you have to get good at one language and then pivot to another language, depending on the lab that you join. Because some labs or people that you join work with Python and don't work with R, and then you have to transition to Python. But it's always easier if you knew principles of coding in R, then it's easier to pivot to another programming language. And then it's also a constant learning curve. Because technology evolves extremely fast. So today you might be just writing scripts you're writing pipelines by putting together a list of scripts, and then a year later, people have workflows that are more customized, and then you have to learn these workflows like Nextflow and all this kind of things. It's always evolving. So you have to keep yourself updated. And also in the job market, you can see in the job market that people are always want to hire people that are updated to the latest technologies. You can look at a job today and then it says, oh, you should know R and programming and R and Python. But then a year later, they're like, okay, you need to know this language, but you need to know workflow language like Nextflow or SnakeMake, things like that. So you have to keep yourself updated. It's always evolving.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. What I've understood from that is that for you to be a good bioinformatician, you have to make sure that you are constantly self-educating, improving on your skill set, adding something on top of what you already know.
Yes,
Yeah. So
definitely.
let's segue into this topic of career clarity. How did you really figure out that it was bioinformatics, not anything else? Because you'd have taken the other route of being just a biologist, infectious biology. And what led you to choose that? Was it anything related to any topic? I won't give away anything, so I just want to know your option, your opinion when it
Yeah.
comes to that. What led you to pursue a career in bioinformatics,
Yeah.
not
Yes.
infection biology?
So after my master's degree here in Sweden, like I said, I got a job at an authority. It's a research authority. It's called the no, the Swedish Veterinary Institute, SVA, and Swedish Veterinary Authority Institute. Yeah. Anyway, it's called SVA. But so they wanted a bioinformatician. They wanted somebody that knows bioinformatics when they were hiring, also knows lab work. I only knew lab work. I didn't know bioinformatics.
Okay.
But then I said I was willing to learn. And then they took me in. Then they gave me a book of Perl programming language. Perl is a bit an older programming language. It's not as popular, but of course the older generation still use Perl. So they gave me a book of Perl, and then they told me write a program that counts dimers or trimers, nucleotides. Yes, and then I did that, and then they kept on giving me tasks. And if you want to learn bioinformatics, that's how you do it. Actually, you need a project.
Yeah.
Somebody has to give you a task, and then you figure out how you do that task. Then you learn
Yeah.
programming and stuff like that. So that's how I started, and then it brought back old memories of where I wanted to be, a programmer. So then I went all in. I started learning a lot and a lot and a lot. But then I was also doing lab work at the time because I was processing samples from, if you collect samples, then you have to like extract RNA or DNA and then, make libraries and sequence them on a machine. And then you have this data and then you analyze the data with the bioinformatics. So I was doing the entire chain. And then when the PhD opportunity came, it was mostly a little bit of bioinformatics, but a lot of lab work. And I took it. But then along the way, because I was more driven, I get more excited when I have bioinformatics tasks as opposed to having lab tasks. Then I realized that I like the keyboard more than I like the pipette. And
Okay.
then for those that don't know, a pipette is just simply a device that we use to pick liquids in the lab. So I preferred sitting on a keyboard, and
Yeah.
it's yeah. So that's pretty much how I pivoted to bioinformatics, and my interest for bioinformatics came in.
So it's been a gradual process. Like
It's been a
you
gradual
had just a
process, yeah.
clear idea of what you wanted to pursue. Along the journey of
Correct.
pursuing it, you discovered something that you're more passionate in, and that's what you took. All right, okay. Yeah, so
Yeah.
usually what I understand from early career professionals, they want to do everything at once. If someone wants to do, let's say, masters, they will want to choose a masters that encompass everything. But what I tell the people I coach is that a career is a journey. You won't know what is at stop B before you've gotten from stop A to B. It's just that continual process that you have to go through, and also it's important for you to be self-aware. The fact that you say that you realize, that means you became aware of your interests. You found
Yes.
bioinformatics more interesting than you being in a lab and using the pipette to find out what DNA is in its sample, what quantity, what what micromilliters, what micrograms. Yeah, okay. So it's been a gradual process, which is beautiful to hear. So when it comes to your career path right now, how fulfilled do you feel on your career journey?
Huh. Fulfilled. That's
It
I
depends
mean,
on what you call fulfillment. Yeah,
yes, for sure.
everyone's is different. Yeah.
I think I'm contented with where I'm at now, but if you ask me to do a PhD again or go back in 2019 when I started it, I don't think I would do it. I would maybe double down on the bioinformatics work that I was doing at the institute and get better and better. You don't have to do a PhD to be successful, really. It's a good thing to do it, but if you're already somewhere and you're comfortable with the kind of work that you're doing, you can just simply double down and get so good at it. Yes. So would I have done a PhD? No. But now that I've done it, it's a good thing to have for sure because it also teaches you management skills, thinking, punctuality, meeting deadlines. It kind of gives you these additional skills. So am I fulfilled? Yes, I would say I am in part. But then, of course, what is fulfillment? I wanna go farther than where I am at the moment for sure. I wanna maybe probably start something of my own. And also having a PhD, of course, gives you that kind of leverage that at least people would trust what you say. Yeah, because you've had this kind of training and a deeper level at the highest level. So having a PhD, of course, gives you that kind of leverage that you have a bigger voice than you would have prior. But of course, you could have your masters and have amassed so much experience, and that could also give you a bigger voice because you have so much
Yeah.
experience. Yes. So
Yeah, that's true.
fulfillment, I don't know if I am,
Yeah.
but
My
I would
take
like
on
to think that.
fulfillment. Yeah.
Uh,
That's a good insight. My take on fulfillment is finding something that you feel brings you joy, because fulfillment is relative. Success, it depends on what you define success. Someone might find
mm,
success as having a job that pays them a lot of money. Others might find success in things like, do I have life balance? Do I have life work balance? Do I have
yeah,
any creativity I'm involved in? Do I find my work creative? Do I find my work
yeah,
stimulating? So it depends on your value system for you to be able to
mm.
say you're fulfilled. Yeah.
Yeah. In
Myself
that
doing a PhD,
go ahead.
myself doing a
Sorry.
PhD, I felt the same way because I believe everyone I've talked to who has done a PhD, especially in these countries where we live, Sweden, you're in Sweden, I'm in Australia, they say that a PhD just gave them those other life skills. Of course, it
Yeah.
teaches you critical analysis, as you've said. It teaches you how to be punctual, keep time, how to communicate, how to really take care of your project, because your PhD is your project. Those are the
Yeah.
skills you gain, and it also gives you
Yes.
the leverage, as you've said. But many people end up not being fulfilled because when we get into it, we have this big expectation of what is going to happen after you've done a PhD. I recall the day I
Yeah.
submitted my thesis, I just felt normal. I just felt like I'd sat for a primary school exam when I sat for my PLE, my primary leavers exams. I didn't feel
Yeah.
any, I started to feel like I'm on top of the world. The world didn't change. I was just like, okay, this is it. So
Mm.
it's after that that I got into this self-discovery journey. And I'm like, wait a minute, all the people I'm around are doing postdocs,
Yeah.
but I'm not interested in doing another lab work because a postdoc is actually a PhD that's not being paid, you know. A postdoc is a PhD that's receiving payment in terms of a salary,
Receiving payment.
a bigger
Yeah.
salary, yeah. But I didn't
Yeah.
want to take that life, so I was like, okay, what other thing can I do? Then I discovered, oh, there's biotech. And when I went to the biotech, my life just changed. So I feel I'm more fulfilled than I felt when I submitted my thesis. So what I
Mm.
would advise you to do right now is to just try to follow the breadcrumbs. Like I call it following the breadcrumbs because you already know where you've planted a seed. Like when you've
Yeah.
eaten bread and the crumbs fell, you can fall and you're like, oh yeah, this was good when I was doing my PhD. This I find interesting. That way, as you continue, you end up defining what fulfillment means to you. Probably fulfillment to you might mean having a weekend off to go to Europe and watch one of the EPLs,
Mm.
or going for those cars or the Formula One car. Like that
Formula
might be
One.
fulfillment to you. or having time to work on a beach because you're a bioinformatician and you can analyze your data on some beach somewhere in Europe or in Tenerife or Spain. So it's just about finding that, because we've reached the highest level of education. After PhD,
Yeah.
there's no more education. You're just adding self-education things and probably a course here and there.
Yeah.
But then what do you use the PhD? Are you going to be a lecturer? Probably yes or no. Are you going to be a professor? Probably yes or no. What other thing can you use your PhD other than making sure that it fulfills your heart desires? I don't say this in a selfish way, but that's what I've found. With a PhD
Mm.
now, I can decide to do anything because I've attained it. Like, no one is going to doubt that you have a PhD. But it's about now you digging in and finding, am I feeling fulfilled with this PhD that I've got?
Yeah.
So that's basically my take when it comes when it comes to success and fulfillment after PhD. Yeah.
I think you've explained it pretty well. You've
Hmm.
actually given me food for thought and context of what a fulfillment can be. I think based on what you said, I think I'm fulfilled because I'm I'm now a bioinformatician and I am going to do work within bioinformatics and I enjoy that.
Yeah.
So I think I'm in the context of what you said, I think I'm fulfilled
That's good.
because
That's
you've
good.
helped
But it
me. Yeah,
also
you've
takes
helped
time.
me.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. It also takes time for you to, you should go on a self-awareness journey. Self-awareness is when you have those self-questions. I always ask myself those questions. Like, how do
Mm,
I feel? Because now you've attained it. Probably 2019, you are like, I need to have my PhD by 2024, you know?
yeah,
And now you've reached that age. You've reached a peak. You've have the pinnacle of the PhD. You have it now,
yeah,
you know? So
mm,
what next? Of course, you can get onto another life because what makes life fulfilling, according to my understanding, is finding things that you can always strive to get to. Life is like that journey whereby you have to keep reaching your hand up for something, you know.
yeah,
You get it, eh?
yes,
Like,
yeah,
you're always striving to become something or do something greater than yourself. Like doing a PhD is being greater than yourself. You're like, oh, when I finish, I'll work for this company, probably I'll do this, probably I'll discover this and it. But now you get there and you're there now. You're thinking, okay, did I achieve what I wanted to achieve? Probably yes, or
yeah,
probably no. But if you've not achieved it, or you feel you're less, you like, or you feel you're less fulfilled right now, you're like, okay, what's the next step after PhD? You just
yeah,
have to define it by following the things that you're interested in. That's my take.
definitely,
Yeah. Mm,
definitely.
yeah.
I think I do agree with that analysis of. And one thing I also noticed that I'm not a routine person. Like I don't want to do similar work over and over again, like working in a diagnostic lab where you're gonna do several PCRs a day for the rest of the year. Yes, I want to have challenges, working on new stuff. Yeah. And then one thing I've also realized that uh, I like working on the A plus problems because if I want to work on the biggest or the hardest projects, because with that it gives you this kind of drive and once you achieve that you have so much leverage. You've showed that you have so much, you can bring so much value. And actually I would recommend this to anybody that is joining a company or something like that. When you join a company, ask for be part of the A plus problems, the biggest problems, even if you don't achieve them, but the attempt to try and solve them gives you so much leverage, and you can climb up the ladder very quickly if you're working on the biggest problems.
Yeah, that's true. That's true because we always have to find that thing that is challenging. If you're just doing the routine work, that's why I was also, when I finished my PhD, I had some time. Gladly, by then I was having a baby to look after, and we had the pandemic, so I had a lot of time to think about my career journey. And every time that I would want to apply for a job that didn't feel my career journey, there was that resistance. I'm like, but Faith, why are you doing this? Because sometimes I've seen many people when they're done with their PhD, especially the lab that I worked in and the labs adjacent to those, when people finish
Mm.
a PhD, because another professor wants, I call it cheap labor, because they know you finished a
It
PhD,
is, but it is.
probably you're waiting to graduate, or you're waiting for your visas to come through, or you're just looking for something to keep you having something to earn. So they're going to use as a research assistant. And many times when people do that, you end up following that line because it's your comfortable zone. That's where you're used to being, you know. So you leave this lab, probably this lab, and go to lab B. Then lab B, you do a little bit of work. When another postdoc comes in, a few grants, you start digging into that work. You find
Yeah.
that you're still like a PhD student. You're still in the
Yeah.
same circle of people. You're not expanding your circles. You're also doing the same work that you are doing when you're a PhD student. That means you're not challenging yourself. And in
Yeah.
the end, 5 years can go when you're still in that place and you're not feeling fulfilled at all.
Yes.
So for me, what worked in my favor was having the pandemic. When the pandemic came, I had a newborn. I looked after my son until he was 1 year and a half. Then I decided to get back to work. And when I went back to
Mm.
work, I was really clear on what exactly I wanted to do. And the work
Yeah.
I ended up doing was more fulfilling than anything I've ever done in my entire life. I felt more fulfilled. People would listen to me. I felt I was in charge of my career. Like every day that I woke up, I wanted to go to work because I felt I was doing something that I was really interested in, not something that was handed over to me because it was the most available thing at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So what has been some of the career mistakes that you've made on your journey? I know mistakes are good because we learn from them.
We learn from them. Career mistakes. I don't know if this is a mistake or now that I think I've already mentioned the first career mistake was doing the PhD. I shouldn't have done the PhD because
Okay.
I was on three good projects at the institute. I was doing good bioinformatics, um, and I was surrounded by good bioinformaticians that I would have grown anyway in my career. But on the flip side, doing the PhD has also helped me, improve on these skills of management and also handling a project, your own project. Yeah, you of course you do have a supervisor, but you're like your own boss. And the fact that my supervisor was not good in bioinformatics, so it was more or less I was more or less
Challenging.
driving the entire thing, the entire ship myself. Yes, so it helped me manage a project by myself in that regard. Yes, so is it a mistake or not? So it depends on how
I
you.
don't think it's a mistake, but it's more of a revelation, a career revelation. Because you can't
Mm,
know something until you've tried it. Now you say you did a PhD, you might have seen it as a mistake, but it's given you all these life skills, being able to
mm.
run a project now. And you can still go back to those research groups that you're working because I believe you still have connection with those guys.
Yes, I was
Yeah,
actually
you can
there this
still,
morning. Yes.
you see, you can still go back. But a PhD, what it did for me, it also taught me how to manage time. People wonder how I get time to do all the things I do. If I tell you the things I do in a day, you'll be shocked. But because
I
I
also
learned
wonder.
to because I learned how to do time management. I have a podcast, I have two YouTube channels, I have a coaching business, I'm a full time mom, I'm a scientist, like I'm a wife. Those are like six things, but I get time to do
Yeah.
them. And I also go to the gym and work out. And people keep wondering, but Faith, how do you do it? It's because I learned to manage my time. And there's no day that, some days I might feel overwhelmed, but there are no days that I feel like, I need to quit. This is too much because I built
Mm.
myself that system. And you can only build it when you know how to run your life as a project. And you only learn that when you're in the thick of it, like you being a PhD student. So I believe a
I think.
PhD was not a mistake for you. According to me, I
Uh,
wouldn't think that you did a mistake. That's what I think.
I've,
Because it's a
yeah.
learning curve. You learnt a lot on your PhD. You might not see it right now, but 2 years from now, you'll be like, okay, it wasn't really a waste of my time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think especially the 6 months I spent in Chicago last year in my final year of of PhD, those ones really, really transformed me.
Yeah.
Because, and I wish I went there in earlier into my PhD. Then I think my PhD would have been much, much better than it was. Because the last 6 months really transformed me. Going to a different lab or a different group that has a different thinking about things, how they do different things, and then picking that up and putting them in your project transforms you. And then it also changes your mindset because if you're around people that are very structured, extremely hardworking, smart people that get things done, then you actually appreciate how people do things. So that's one thing that I really appreciate about my PhD, that I did 6 months in Chicago and they changed my mindset. I wouldn't have built this app that helps PhD students plan their defense if I didn't go to Chicago.
Oh,
So
really?
being around these people, it really inspired me. So now the app
Can you share with
is
me
now
a link?
official.
You share with me a link so that I can put it in the notes for anyone who wants to have a use. Yeah.
I know the thing is at the moment it's only local in my
Oh, all
university, and
local. Okay, okay,
yeah,
okay.
and I'm gonna add. The plan is to make it better to onboard all of the PhD students because now it's only
Okay.
tailored to those that are about to defend. And at just this
Yeah.
university and also now Uppsala University, now I'm gonna make it for all PhD students. It onboards a PhD student, takes them through,
With my network.
and then also I'm gonna expand it to other universities and then maybe outside Sweden. But at the moment, it's
Oh,
just specifically for university. And now they've made it
that
official at the university. So if I'd
that's
not gone to
amazing.
Chicago, I would never have that kind of mindset.
You
Yes.
see, that's the beauty of networking. What I understood, okay, what I saw, I've seen in PhD curriculums because I've interacted with many PhD students around the world. I know you. I know some other friend of mine was in Sweden. Then another one is in the US. Like I've met different PhD students. What I see is that most times when people are doing PhDs, actually that was also my mindset. I thought my project was just my project. I wouldn't discuss it with someone else because they don't know exactly what I'm working on. But after a while, I discovered like, oh, there are so many transferable skills you can get from other people or insights in your project. Even if they don't know the nitty gritties of the project, they can be able to
Yeah.
help you in structure, in how to think, like a perception or a line of thinking. So it was more informative for me to network. And that's the beauty of networking. When you network with people or go out to conferences or interact or join forums, you can pick brains from other people that
Yeah.
can help you in your career.
Definitely.
So, so
Definitely.
that's good to hear. Yeah, yeah. So you talked of you're going to start a new job. When are you starting on Monday?
Yes. Starting on
Amazing.
Friday next week on first
Oh
March.
yeah. Who starts on Friday? Can't you go in
Because it's first on
on
March.
third
Yeah, I know.
or
Nobody.
fourth
I'll,
on Monday?
in Yeah, I will start on Monday, but I'll go there on Friday just to meet the team.
Okay.
Yeah, just to meet the teams because it's first. Yeah, and then start
Okay.
official on Monday. Who
That's
starts on Friday?
amazing.
You're right.
Yeah, because imagine going to office you're like, this is my first day of work and it's Friday. Okay, so you're going to go and do like administration work, get to meet the team, get
Yeah.
situated. Yeah, that's
Yes.
amazing.
Where am I
Yeah,
gonna sit and all those kinds of things? Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
great. So you're going to be working as a bioinformatician.
No, it's actually a postdoc, but it's mostly it's all computational, so there's no lab work. So I'll be
Okay,
working with the vaginal microbiome.
okay.
Yeah, so we are looking at interactions between viruses, bacteria, and all those microbial communities in the vagina, and how that affects female reproductive health, pregnancies. So it's practical stuff because we have collaborations with doctors and stuff like. It's implementable to it's translatable to to a common person.
Okay, that's
So we're
good.
gonna
That's good
that's what
to
I'm gonna
hear.
do.
Amazing, great. At least you
Yeah.
help us, the females. You help us with our
Exactly.
people.
And
Yeah,
the funny thing is that the lab is only two males and all females.
that would be great. That would be great. You'll
Yeah,
be able.
it's
They'll be
great.
able to tell you everything like from. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
amazing. Yeah. So could you tell our viewers and our listeners how did you get to know about me and my services? Because I was also part of your
Yeah.
journey at some point.
Yes, you are. You were part of my journey, getting the scholarship that took me to Sweden, the master scholarship. I think we had yes, I think it was Joyce. We have a mutual friend called Joyce. So Joyce did her masters at in the UK, and then when I was applying for masters scholarship, she recommended me to contact you. She told me that you knew how to write motivation letters. You could guide me on how to structure one, and we didn't know each other at all because we just meet your friends. And I reached out, and you
I
actually
don't
helped
even.
me, and you didn't charge me nothing, and
Oh
you gave me your time,
yeah,
which was really nice, and I am so appreciative of that. It was
that's
it was
amazing.
incredible. Yeah, you took your time and you edited it, and you actually even gave me a mock copy of you gave me what you had used as a benchmark to in the way I'll structure mine, and then you actually went on to also review my application, which was very, very helpful.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's great. That's great. Yeah.
and he
So
didn't charge me anything. He should have charged me.
now now I charge. You pay in dividends. You pay in dividends. Yeah. I'll bring the receipt book just
Yeah.
as soon as you get your first pay at this job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You'll pay
in all
with
seriousness, Faith,
interest.
it was you were very kind and very helpful, and I'm forever grateful for that.
You're most welcome. Yeah, I've
Yes.
always helped people. It's actually that's how I discovered. Like when I went on the self awareness journey, that's when I discovered the things I'm good at. I discovered I'm good at coaching people.
Yeah.
Like 95% of the people I've coached have either gotten job promotions, have gotten scholarships, they've gotten new jobs, career changers, and those are just
Mm.
skills I pick because I'm so much invested in my own personal development. And me, I learn best when I teach, like when I share how I've done something.
Mm.
That's when I learn. When I was also going to apply for my master's scholarship to study in the UK, my supervisor, I've shared this story over and over and over. My supervisor I was working with always lied to me that he sent my references, but he never did. Because I'd
What?
applied like to 3 universities. He
Mm.
had told me because what would happen then, they would send the link to the supervisor in such a way that you put their email, then they send a link to them. They tell them,
Yeah.
okay, Faruk, please fill Faith's reference. So
Yeah.
they send the link,
Reference.
and me, they never told me that they had sent the link. If they had told me, I would follow up. No, no, no. They
Yeah.
would send me an email. They're like, we've emailed your supervisor to provide a reference.
Yeah.
But my supervisor never provided the references. So I missed out on like 3 scholarships because I remember I'd applied to ALN. It was African London Nagasaki scholarship. It was between the University of London, Africa London School and
Mm.
Nagasaki School of Tropical Medicine. I missed out on that, and also missed out on Nottingham and also the Australian one. Australia used to also sponsor. But funny enough,
Mm.
right now I'm in Australia. But
I'm
when
in
I
Australia
found
now.
out that, I was so disillusioned. I started thinking of who could help me. Then I had a mentor that I worked with at the adjacent lab I used to work at MRC, Medical Research Council, Uganda.
Yeah.
I talked to him. He was a very nice guy. He's white. He had his family also that they had come to Uganda to work. He was a virologist. I talked to him and I explained to him my scenario. I told him how I didn't give him the details. I was just like, you know what, I'm interested in doing my master's degree in the UK. Please help me. He told me, oh, go write something, then we shall go through it. So when I wrote, we sat down with him and he taught me how to do it. And when he taught me, as soon as I submitted like today, then like 3 weeks later, I was shortlisted for the Equity and Merit Scholarship. And I went to do the interview and I was given the scholarship. So it's those skills that I gain, and I'm like, okay, now I know this. Because initially I would write, but of course I never got feedback because if your supervisor doesn't send a reference, even if they
Yeah.
shortlist you, they won't give you the scholarship. So I never got many of the feedback from those. Oh, I got the feedback, but they were mostly rejects telling me you're not successful. But after a
Yeah.
while, I found out. One of them told me we we had to make a decision. Your application was good, but your supervisor never sent you what your reference.
Yeah.
So I missed out on those, and I felt so bad. But in hindsight, my life changed when I got myself Dr. Chris Parry. He was a very lovely guy.
Mm.
And it's that thing that I paid forward. So I started doing it for many people, doing it freely, 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 until I was like,
Yeah.
you know what, Faith, it's high time you decided to monetize this passion. And
Yeah.
the monetization has been a bit slow because I had to also overcome money mindsets because you think about it like, why should I charge a person? But I'm like, I'm giving you my time, I'm giving you
Yeah.
skills
And
that
you deserve
if
it.
I
Yeah.
give, if I teach you what I've learned on my journey, you can 100 times your salary, your career, you can change, reinvent yourself, move to a new
Mm.
country or get a new job or become a manager. And I'm only asking you a tenth of that in terms of
Yeah.
pay. So so I started charging people. But that's been also my journey. But also what I've learned is that when you learn something, it's best to pay it forward. That's why I
Yeah.
do podcast episodes and share free knowledge. Of course, the free knowledge is not really personalized to a person, but
Yeah.
it's the knowledge that I share in terms of podcasts, Instagram lives, Instagram stories, Instagram posts. It's because I've accumulated all that. And if I keep accumulating it, at some point, it will just explode out of my brains. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I need to keep providing the information. And truth be told, coaching is a very important aspect, especially when you're starting out your career. Even you right now, you need to find yourself a mentor. Even me, I have mentors and coaches because there are things I
Hmm.
also don't know in my career. So no one
Yeah.
is too high up there that you can't
Yeah.
learn something from someone.
I highly recommend mentors. Yes. Highly recommend. Yeah.
Yeah, because they help you see things in a different perspective. They can even help you avoid mistakes that you think are not mistakes, those
Yes.
missteps. You take a wrong step and you find yourself down the drain. But if you
Yeah.
have a mentor, they can guide you and tell you, instead of taking this route, take this route. Instead of going
Yeah.
here, do this. So it's really important to have someone you can always pass your thoughts, your mind, your actions
Yeah.
to, and they give you feedback. But also, some people don't know how to use mentors. They think a mentor is going to do for you the work, but a mentor is just supposed to be like a guide, like a
Yeah.
navigation. They're with you to hold your hand, but
Yes.
they're not going to do the work for you. So you have to also do your part, but they come in case you have any issues in terms of confusion, in terms of advice. That's when they come in to help you. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. I think we're almost at the time.
You're almost top
So
of the hour.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what, as we conclude this episode, what advice would you give anyone starting their career?
Starting their career. Um, they should
Have
be
you finished?
very, they should be,
Hey,
should think about, could you hear me?
I can hear you. Before I wasn't. Yeah.
Yes, I was saying that they should be open to new things, should be open to change. They should also think about value, how much value they bring on the table, how much, as opposed to taking value, because life is about value exchange, really. Like, for example, we talked about mentors. You have to think about what value can I provide the mentor to get value from them, to get a mentor. Yeah, and value, you don't think of value as money, really. Could be volunteering to help doing small tasks, and in return, you're under their wing and you shadow them. So I would say be flexible to change, and also make sure that you provide value exchange.
Yeah.
Those are things I can come off on top of my head at the moment.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Yeah. Open to change is very well. It's very well received because many of us are scared to change, and we are
Yeah.
scared of what we are going to find out on the other side of change. But that's how
Yes.
growth happens. You can't grow if you stay in
Definitely.
the same place.
You can't. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been lovely. It's been lovely chatting with you today. And
Yeah.
congratulations on your PhD. Congratulations on being a postdoc. Wow, you're going to have a great time.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Thank you very much.
Now you're going
Thank
into
you.
the process of having to mentor other people. When you become a postdoc, you take on
Yes.
other early career professionals. So please
Yes.
pass the skills that you've gained from your mentors to them. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
And I
Thank you
believe
very
you'll
much.
do great. Yeah, you'll do great.
Thank you very much. And thank you for
Yeah.
the good work you're doing for people in their career.
Yes, you're welcome. I'll stop this
Yeah.
here, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've loved this episode, please subscribe, share this episode wherever you think it will benefit. Also, don't forget to take imperfect action in your career. Everything in life is just chance. You just have to have that chance on yourself.
And they shouldn't forget to hit the like button too, because it
Oh
helps with
yeah,
the
don't forget to
algorithm.
hit the like button and share this episode with whoever you think it will benefit. It's been lovely chatting with you, Faruk, Dr. Faruk Dube.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
Well
for having
done,
me.
well done, well done. Yeah. Okay, bye bye. Bambi
Bye
webale
bye.
nnyo. Yeah.
Kale kanziruke waggulu eno nga batandise okuyimba.
Bambi.